Litsa, as you heard, and I have had such a good time at MozCon, mostly because of the mingling. I've met such smart people that are into the same stuff I am, and that is really cool. So yeah, doopy-doo. Yeah, there's my name big. In my 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about email, and that's kind of weird, like email, but email got really cool recently, so I want to tell you why email is cool now, and I also want to tell you what my team and I learned about email that led us to increase email campaign conversion 146%. It was nuts. We did a little dance, and it is sustainable, and it's something you can do too. You just need to know something about email, and I want to tell you what that something is, but first I want to tell you what I do right quick so you'll know why I care about email to begin with. Bazaar Voice is a platform upon which retailers and brands build things like product reviews and stories and Q&A and comments and all this other UGC widgets, and all that delicious content funnels down into a data network, and then our clients can do product sentiment analysis and neat things like that, and that's all sweet and stuff, but it all depends on consumers writing things about stuff that they bought. And most of our clients get consumers to do this by just emailing them and asking them. So Buckle is one such client, and they had been sending out a post-purchase email that asked recent customers to review the product that they just bought, and their template looked like this, and it worked pretty well, as you can see. So the bar was already pretty high, but Buckle thought that maybe they could improve this template with better visuals, better copy, more compelling motivators, you know, things like that. And long story short, no, no, they couldn't. The whole experiment was a fail, and it took 3 months, and that's a long time in Corporateville, and So we had to fess up and accept that we either needed to throw in the towel or find a pivot, a big old pivot, and not repeat the things that we had been doing for 3 months. So fortunately, Buckle is really cool, and they allowed us to keep going and, you know, kind of do things our way. So we decided that we were going to take a naive approach to email template design and pretend that email was invented yesterday and just completely disregard everything we thought we knew about email design. And so we just made observations in the world, and pretty quickly we determined that we needed to create our template for the smartphone user, because after all, today the mantra is mobile first, right? So as a result, we designed a really lame, boring template, and yeah, but it was really readable, and that was important. People didn't have to pinch or pan or zoom or download images in order to get the message and to tap or click on the call to action. Similarly, we redesigned the landing page, which was a review submission form. Before, it was 100% desktop oriented. Our new submission form was intended for smartphone users. That doesn't mean that we neglected the desktop user. We used responsive web design techniques to make both the email template and the landing page look decent on any screen. And if you want to talk about responsive web design, that is my favorite subject in the world, so I'm just throwing that out there. And then this happened. Yay! Yeah, that 146% conversion lift. We got 146% more reviews every day when we switched to these smartphone-oriented templates. And this is the stat for our best performing email, but all of our other mobile-friendly emails were equally boring and lame and linear and all that stuff, but they performed really well. And here's the averages. On the top, you can see the default. Below that are the marketing experiments, right? And then the mobile-oriented experiments, and they did better on every front. Open rate, click-through rate, conversion, just yeah, and if you're wondering how we influenced open rate, you are very clever, and you should ask that during the Q&A. So here is a number I'm really excited to share with you. 56% of the people that clicked through on the email did so using a smartphone. Whoa, we were not expecting that. And as you know, you cannot control what device people open your email with, right? So this is just the way it shook out. And it's not a squishy number like open rate. This is a hard number because it's based on code that we put on the landing page itself. So yeah, you might be thinking, well, you know, this is only one client, so maybe they're an anomaly. But I talked to a guy at Experian recently, and I asked him about this, and he said that, yeah, Cheetah Mail has seen similar numbers, similar click-throughs being from mobile users. 50 and 60% is not weird. So email is a mobile thing. Before we implemented our smartphone-oriented templates, we were getting 17 reviews in a day, and those were all desktop because the experience was just really impractical for a smartphone user to actually go through, right? So 17 desktop reviews a day. After we implemented these new awesome templates, our reviews coming from desktop users went from 17 to 20. So the desktop users weren't really affected by the redesign, not enough to write home about, right? But overall, our review submissions went from 17 to 47. And that 27 in between, that was all smartphone people, not even really tablet. Tablet was just a handful out of these thousands of people we sent email to. So basically what that says is there was this big old mobile audience that wanted to participate and they wanted to write reviews, but we had usability barriers preventing them from doing so. And as soon as we implemented these templates, it was like opening a gate and watching all of these users just flood on in, and that's how we discovered Buckle's big old mobile audience. And gosh, think about how unfortunate it is when people make mobile design investment decisions or base their mobile designs on data alone, and they don't look at anything qualitative, right? Because last year's data told us that people don't write reviews using a smartphone, right? We were getting 0 reviews from smartphone users. So why would we make an investment in an audience that didn't exist? Well, of course, that's folly, right? And it's a good thing that whenever we design these templates, we just looked at the world, we brought people into our usability lab, and we designed these templates, and then we turned to data when we tested our hypotheses, and we needed to see what changed. So moral of the story, all those old marketing email best practices that really haven't changed much over the years, forget about them. They're not based in today's reality. They're not based on what email is today. And today, and since 2007, email has been an app. For most Americans, email is an app. It has push notifications and all that jazz. Well, so that's great. Hopefully I've convinced you that email is a mobile thing. Maybe that's not news to you, but what do we do with this information, right? Like, okay, well, if you have created an email campaign, you are tapping a big old mobile audience. You are. It may be that that mobile audience can't, they're not clicking on your email template for whatever reason. It may be that they're not able to convert, so maybe they're not making it on your radar, but you are reaching them. So let's assume that usability barriers are removed, and if so, then whenever you do an email campaign, you're drawing all of these smartphone users to your website, and you're depositing them on landing pages you created, and you're creating these little mobile hotspots. So even if your overall site traffic isn't all that mobile, let's say it's just 13% mobile, that is not a reason to believe that you're insulated from the mobile takeover or whatever. No, site traffic is not homogeneous, right? Certainly not mobile site traffic, and I believe that your mobile site traffic might be pooling on pages that are really important to you, so important to you that you bothered to create an email campaign to send people there. Thought number 2, social media is a mobile thing. Facebook is 53% mobile. Twitter is 60% mobile. These numbers sound a lot like the email numbers, right? So I don't know this for sure, but I imagine that when friends are talking to friends about content on your site, chances are at least one of them is using a smartphone, right? And so they are creating little mobile hotspots on your site too. So I don't know this for sure, but I wonder if there's a correlation between parts of your site that have high densities of mobile traffic and social relevance or social interest. I don't know. I don't have access to your analytics accounts or your clients' analytics accounts, but I am so very, very curious. So maybe some of y'all have thought the same thought and you've looked into it. Oh, let me go back. So I don't have a slide for this third thought because I just had it not long ago, but if you're a retailer or if your clients are retailers, the store is a channel. The brick and mortar store is a channel, and that channel sends 100% smartphone traffic to your website because people don't walk around your aisles with desktops or laptops or tablets. They walk around with little phones. So the person standing in your aisle looking at a high consideration item is also creating a little mobile hotspot in your sitemap, right? Again, this is speculation, but I wonder if your high consideration product pages have more mobile traffic than your other product pages. I don't know, but 3 times I've told you, hey, you have channels that are probably drawing in mobile traffic and sending them to pages you care about, right? You have these email campaigns that you're investing in. You have social media marketers that are busy strategizing, right? You have your in-store merchandising. You're doing all this work upstream. Is all that energy being wasted? Downstream, is the user journey making all your efforts worthwhile? Are people getting choked up along the way? And so you're just killing conversion all along the way. Yeah, so discovering your mobile audiences takes effort, right? It takes removing usability barriers and just coming up with hypotheses and trying stuff out, right? And certainly usability is a huge factor, but let's take this another couple steps forward. Let's say that you don't believe that your website's primary activity is something people would do with a smartphone. Well, okay, that's fair, but is there some engagement you can stick on the site so you can capture those leads, so you can learn of the intent of that mobile traffic that's coming in, this new audience that you're learning about, right? So for example, someone's not gonna book the plane flight on their smartphone, but maybe they would reserve a price, lock in a price. Or maybe they wouldn't download this big old PDF with their smartphone, but maybe they would at least sign up for a mailing list. Or I don't know your business, but are there little low risk, low effort engagements that you can put in front of your smartphone users? And then taking another step forward, let's say that you tackled areas of your website with that are critical to conversion, right? So let's say you're a retailer and you're sending all these people to product pages. You decide to redesign your shopping cart experience so that it doesn't prevent people from converting. It doesn't prevent this possible majority audience from converting. Well, people don't know that, right? Your customers don't know that you went through this effort. Can you retrain them? Think of things you can do to encourage these people coming into these landing pages to actually convert, right? So let's say it's a Mother's Day campaign, you emailed everybody about it, 20% off sweaters for mom or something. If you detect that it's a smartphone user, could you say, hey, extra 10% off for you if you will go and purchase this right now on your smartphone? Maybe you can retrain your audience, and once you do that, it'll be a lot easier to get them to convert again and again. So I just threw a bunch of ideas at you. I mean, some of it is fact, some of it is theory, but you know what? This is a room full of really smart people that are hungry for information and curious. That's why we're all here, and it's really cool. And we're all new to mobile. Even people that say that they're mobile experts, they're new to mobile too, because mobile technology hasn't been around that long in the form that we know it today, and it keeps changing, right? And so for us to keep up with mobile best practices and to truly understand the smartphone user and the tablet user and the whatever, we have to share ideas with each other. We have to take risks and share our theories and share our observations and share data too, right? So yeah, I'm writing a book on the subject, actually. My work in progress is located at mobile.bizarrevoice.com. I would be really thrilled if you took a look, but even if you don't, I would love to hear what you have to say on this subject. So thank you very much for your time.
That was fantastic. Let's talk about those email open rates.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, so you know, the inbox is different on a smartphone than on a desktop. And in the smartphone experience, the subject line is pretty short, and then below that, if the subject line is short enough, then you see the first line of the message. So if your email message begins with, click here to view this email in a browser, that's what people will see in the inbox, and that's not very compelling. Or if the first line of your message is a logo, people might see logo.jpg, you know, and that, what a poor use of what could be a subtitle. So what we did is we came up with a subtitle that told people the gist of the email, just really straightforward, and then, or we used the subject line that way, and then we came up with a subtitle, the first line of our message, that told them why they should care. So 20% off of sweaters, buy something for mom, like that.
Good tip. Yes?
Since we're talking about email and you seem to be doing very well with it, in addition to mobile and optimizing your emails for mobile, we found that a lot of our email success is determined on like list hygiene. And I'm wondering what you would say would be like a best practice for you as far as list hygiene and like when to remove somebody from your list that's not responding and how often do you do that, or what do you guys do?
Right, okay, so our involvement with that whole experiment was just on the design side. Really, Buckle was the one that came up with the templates and we implemented them. But so we don't actually have a mailing list, or we don't have access to Buckles. But I would say that the relevancy of the email makes all the difference. So I just imagine that if you have people on your list that really shouldn't be there and the message isn't relevant to them, then they're not even going to open it to begin with. And I think part of our high numbers was due to the fact that these post-purchase emails were semi-transactional. So it's not very spammy to tell someone that just bought something to please review it, right?
Thank you.
Yes?
Hi, this is Nakul Goyal with Oriental Trading. So my question is about the Buckle example that you used. You said the review rate roughly increased from 1% to 3%.
Right.
Considering the user is on a smartphone, did you have any insight on the length or the quality of the review?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We did actually, and the reviews were a little bit shorter. It's weird because on a Mac, they were like 25 words no matter what. So that made us think that, that maybe the size of the text box had the most to do with it. Yeah, so they were a little bit shorter, but it wasn't like Twitter messages either. I think that the average was somewhere around 25 or 30 words on a smartphone, but the average for desktop was around 40 words.
Okay, cool. That's great data.
Yeah, and you're a client, so woo.
One more question.
G'day, my name's Will Egan from Osmed. Fantastic presentation. It's really awesome to have someone up there doing email as well. Just a little thing that I thought I'd add in. I noticed this from a Google I/O talk just last month or the month before. Google's just introduced a thing called Schema. We all know about that, but Schema for emails. It's awesome and it would really help you out. I think you can actually ask and have reviews submitted from within the email without having to get the user to leave Gmail. It's also applicable like across review sites, that's their primary purpose, but it's also implementable for websites such as accommodation, flights, things like that. Being able to send requests from the server, kind of like Ajax, to the server from the email and get a response at your end without them having to click any link whatsoever. So
That's really cool. I bet it works for Android because of the Google connection. We should talk after this because I wonder what you do in the case of Yahoo and AOL peeps.
Yeah, we were going to write a rule like send this email to people with, blah, blah, blah at gmail.com and send some other email to
Gotcha.
everybody else just to handle those. But I reckon you'd get like, what they were saying yesterday, the first person to adopt Damesh, I think, was saying, first person to adopt the new platform gets the most kind of promotion. And I think anyone who wants to get the review submitted through emails, through Gmail using that schema, just released last month, would just be 100% or something conversion rate. So anyway.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much for that tip. I will write it down.
Litsa, thank you so much for sharing your experience, and I hope to have you back someday.
Thank you.